welcome back to the L.A.M.E Book Club podcast. My name is Melissa.
I'm Ellie.
And we're here with our very last installment of Kingdom of Ash, folks.
Oh,
Week
it's
6.
sweet. It's sad.
I know.
It's good and sad.
Chapters 101 through 121 plus the epilogue, A Better World. Pretty sure that's what it's called. Will double check, but okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And it, like Ellie said, it's bittersweet. On one hand, I'm so sad because this is such a fun world and we've been doing this for so long. It's like almost comfort at this point. But I am excited to do something different. So bittersweet.
Yeah. We've been in this for so long.
Most of 2024 we've been doing Third Glass. It's crazy.
Remember when we started and I was like, I guess we'll finish like by Christmas, so that's that.
And I was like, no way. And we're not that far off, so you were right.
It's Halloween time.
It is.
Yeah, we're done. We'll probably get a couple more books in this year, and then that'll be the wrap of 2024. How exciting!
Yeah. And if you didn't already, go check out our Monday episode. We did instead of a hot gossip with unpopular sauce, we actually did a special on a new book called Riftborn. It's very fun, very very cool, very nice. I like it. But go check that out. I don't know. I don't remember where it's from. Very cool, very nice. It's something. I don't remember. It might be a meme.
Like that.
It might be from a show. I couldn't tell you where it's from, but I can hear it in my head, and I want to say it's Steve Carell. Very cool, but it's probably I don't think that's right. I don't know. But
crazy.
It's a very good. It's a fun book. Go listen to it. There are some spoilers, but it's still worth listening, in my humble opinion. And then go check out the book afterwards. It's on Kindle Unlimited if you have that subscription. Otherwise, you can order the book pretty much anywhere you can get books. But yeah, it was fun. Go check that out. And Ellie,
yes.
Do you have our patron shoutouts?
I do. First and foremost, thank you guys for joining Patreon. If you want to join, we have 2 tiers, like and love, and you'll get bonus content. Snake. We are actually dropping, I think, 2 extra bonus episodes this week on Patreon. We're
doing a bonus episode and an early release because one of them will eventually TBD. We don't know when. One of them will be live, but
someday.
If you're on Patreon, you get to listen to it now.
We needed to record it, and we're just gonna let our friends hear it. So, hop on Patreon if you want to get that one. But here is the shout out to all of our new patrons. We have Serenity, Madison, Emily, Tia, Ashley, Maud, Nancy, Katie, Alex, Chandler, Rebecca, Bailey, Rianne, and Ada. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you very much. Yay. Our fun little community is a growing.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's a showing, but I felt weird about saying that.
I think the live book clubs that we do are going to be off the walls. I think it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. And we are actually going to have our first book club when we finish our first Patreon book called, drumroll, Caraval. That's what y'all voted for, and that is what we're going to do. I'm very excited.
Yes, so that's what our patrons voted for. So if you are interested, all of our book club episodes will now be moving over to Patreon. So feel free to join. And if you join our love tier, then you get voting rights. So those are our love friends voted for Caraval.
If you're wondering what chapters.
Yeah,
if you're wondering what chapters we're going to be reading, we're about to post it on Patreon. So check that out for more information before our next episode comes out this upcoming Wednesday. So, yeah.
Yep. And Ellie, what month is it?
It is October, spooky month.
What does that mean?
We are doing a contest. What are we calling it?
I guess.
A spooky
kind of. You get a prize if you win, so I feel like it is
in a form a contest, but spooky short stories. So we want to hear your short stories. We want to know the scariest things that you've ever encountered or made up or half encountered, half made up. Whatever your heart desires, 1,000 words or less, send it to us. We have a link in our Instagram bio. And then we are going to read our favorite ones on the podcast for our Halloween special. And if you are chosen, we will send you a L.A.M.E Book Club Pod sticker. And if you win, out of everybody that submits, you are going to get a fun swag bag. So please submit your stories. We are so excited to read them. We've had quite a few come in already. I haven't read them yet, but I am pumped. Yep. So
the cutoff to submit your stories is going to be October 24th. So it sounds like there's a lot of time, but I promise it will sneak up on you. So get them in, let us read them, and we'll let you know if we're going to read it on the pod.
Yeah.
And thank you again just so much for your support outside of Patreon. Just anyone who follows us on Instagram, anyone who has left a review, a comment, we appreciate it. If you don't already, follow us at L.A.M.E Book Club Pod, subscribe to YouTube, all the things. Just thank you. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yep, that's the one.
And before we jump in, if you listen to our last episode, we had, mostly myself, had a lot of questions about just the gods. I it didn't make sense to me the first time I read it. Once again, wasn't fully there for me the second time. I usually, the second time through, I'm like, oh, I missed something. Wasn't the case for me. I don't know why this was so confusing.
It was a hard thing to follow, but lucky for us, we do have the community.
We do.
And they did not think it was that hard to follow. So I wanted to
They're just helping us.
Follow up on our questions with some answers we got in our YouTube comments. So in reference to, like, last we read, Aelin had lost her fire, and we were confused because we're like, she was born with fire. Why would she lose all of it? Even if some of it were God-given, I don't understand why she lost all of it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So this response comes from Valeria Pacheco-C9Y on YouTube. And they say, I think her fire power was purely from the gods her whole life. She was born in the right circumstances and chosen by the gods to give this fire magic and then forge the lock with the fire magic to return it to the gods. So maybe she could have had a mix of water and fire because of her ancestors, but since an heir of Mala had to be sacrificed, they took all of her fire magic and her mortality, therefore leaving her with the water magic and immortality. She only got some fire in the end because, again, it was given by the gods. And then as far as her being left with little magic, she's demi-fae. This made the most sense in my mind. This is where everything clicked for me. She's demi-fae, and we saw most of the demi-fae at Mistward have very little magic. I assume if Aelin weren't born in the right circumstances to forge the lock, she would have just been a normal demi-fae with her mother's water magic and strong enough ancestral line to settle and be immortal. Kind of similar to Aedion, except, he doesn't have the power, so she just have a little bit. Yeah. So that made sense to me.
That does make sense. Thank you.
When we were confused about, like, how is she making portals? How is she, like, where did this come from?
Yeah, like her magic was taken.
Yeah, the magic is chalked up to the word keys. Because she had all the word keys and she was now wielding them, that gave her the power to send the gods back to their world, open up the portals, forge the lock, all that. So, the more you know, the more you know.
The more that, like, gif of the star in the sky, and it's like, the more you know. That's how I really know.
Yeah. Perfect.
That is quite literally. So thank you guys. Thank you to all of our friends on YouTube and everywhere that gave us the answers that we were looking for.
Yes.
Hope that if you guys were in the same boat as us, hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Also, the last thing I said about, like, the magic being from the word keys, that's how it explains the portals. That came from Mary Moga 530 on YouTube.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Well, with that being said, Ellie, are you ready to jump into this last little bit of KOA?
It's, like, actually breaking my heart, but yes, I'm ready.
All right.
It's been such a road. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Chapter 101. Aelin's allies are not happy with the outcome of the forging of the lock, as Erewhon has not been banished as promised. In permanently closing all word gates, however, Aelin has ensured Erewhon's brothers can never return. Dorian's magic was mostly depleted by the lock, but he still possesses more than Aelin. Aelid gifts Aelin Silba's ring, which offers immunity from the Volg. Aedion's forces at Orinth are running low on soldiers and weaponry. Older generations enlist, and the elderly Lord Murtaugh dies fighting against the Volg. That was so sad. And I think
really was.
For me, and I don't know if any Outlander fans out there, but
yes, me.
I was into that series before I got into this one, and I was only picturing the Murtaugh from the show.
Yeah.
Character descriptions be damned. I only was picturing Murtaugh, and so when he died, I'm just like, not Murtaugh, not my Highlander. And so that was extra devastating for me. Not only because his character is so sweet, but also because
When we read this for the first time, I think we actually texted each other, like, you picture Murtaugh as Murtaugh, right? Like, it's the only one. He's the only one.
Exactly. Because Ellie read this before I did. So I was just like, Ellie, shut up. His name's Murtaugh. Like the Murtaugh. The very same.
Devastating.
Yes. And I lost my spot. Oh, yes. Okay. With a maximum of 4 days of firepower left to wield against Morath's armies before they'll be forced to surrender, Lysandra and Aedion let go of past grievances and embrace their love for each other. As fierce storms impede Aelin and her allies from trekking north to Orinth, the legendary Dryad of Terrasen, a white stag called the Lord of the North, appears with the little folk and beckons for Aelin's armies to follow them, promising a swift and stealthy path to the capital.
I need to pause. I couldn't get over this. I thought I would get over it, and I didn't. Lysandra and Aedion getting past their grievances and embracing their love for each other. I thought you were going to say something about the little folk. No. I do have a theory on the little folk. It hit in one of our Hot Goss episodes, but I won't go there yet. Lysandra and Aedion, I simply would not forgive. Like, I know what I said in the last episode about, like, I'm ready to forgive Aedion. Why be so angry? I think I had a better night's sleep, so I'm fueled back with my typical level of anger. And I just wouldn't. Like, okay, we're on our deathbeds is what it looks like. Like, the death is coming towards us. We are not going to live. But maybe then you should have treated me nicer, because if you're not going to be nice to me during life, you're not going to get me near death.
If you don't deserve me, you're not nice to me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best, Aedion.
That's exactly what it is. I just think about it for real. If you're a lady and your person throws you into the snow naked and then closes the door and is like, you suck. No, that's curtains for me. I don't think I could, no matter the situation.
That's so true. However, to play devil's advocate, just because for funsies, we have not been in the near-death situation that they were currently in. One would assume that when you're not expected to live.
Last Wednesday, when the 1,000 Valg came marching towards me, I'll tell you why I was not ready for forgiveness.
I will say, if there's anyone in real life, like this is the situation, you have potentially 4 days to live and your partner has done you so dirty.
I'm the one who'd be as petty.
I was going to say, if anyone I know is going to say, doesn't matter, I'm going to die angry. I will say I do think it
and
would
I
be
hope
you.
that you remember what you did when you stand upon my gravestone.
I hope the last thing you think about before a Valg destroys you is my face in the snow after you threw me out. And then you walk away. That's absolutely
so true.
And anyways, I love that about you.
Yeah, I needed to say that like, good for them, not for me. And then the little folk. Should I go into this?
Go for it.
No, because it's more of a Crescent City reference.
Oh, well, then don't.
Than anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm actually really glad you brought that up. I felt like that was funny.
But I did go into it in a Hot Goss. It's the one with Daniel Alexander where we talk about, it's called Maas Island. So if you've read all three and you're like, what is she talking about? Go listen to that episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All right. Aedion's forces have managed to stretch their resources for 5 days. But now they have finally run out of arrows and fire lances. Darrow returns the Sword of Orinth to Aedion and restores his title. I feel like I need to be one of those guys that I know it's in things other than Shrek, but obviously Shrek is my go-to. At the wedding, Farquaad and Fiona's wedding, where they're holding up signs and says, "Aww."
Yes.
I need to do that.
Yes.
Darrow also formally recognizes Lysandra as the Lady of Caraver and names Evangeline as his heir. Once again.
The full 180 on Darrow.
I
was
know.
losing it. I think I cried because I love seeing someone so stuck in their ways just open up and soften their heart. That gets me every time. You want to make me cry? You write that in a book.
Same. Especially when it's an old man. There's something about a grandpa figure that gets me. I don't know what it is. And I feel like this is something I should bring up in therapy because I really don't have an excuse. I love my grandpa and I have such a great relationship with him. So it's not even like there's like real life symbolism there for me. Mm-hmm. But if you add in a grumpy grandpa, that, and I know he's not even her grandpa, but you add in a crotchety old man that is the only thing that softens his heart is a little orphan girl. Gah! That's it. That's the equivalent of adding a dog to a commercial for me. That is
That's so true.
Nothing gets me going quite like that.
Yeah.
So Sarah, you get it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Morath, which has saved its arsenal for this final day, slaughters Aedion's forces. Honestly, and I'll say this, I'm probably going to say this again, I have never seen such a bleak of an outcome as I did in this book. Like in most books, it's like, all right, things are looking pretty bad, but like these are the main characters, so they've got to pull something out of their butts. Like there's no way this is how it's going to end. But I think Sarah did such a great job in making this just kept getting worse for them. Almost that last like half of this book, you're like, oh, it can't possibly get worse. And then it keeps getting worse. So I think like my hope just continued to like dwindle. And at this point, I'm like, and then it's like, oh, and guess what? Morath has kept half their forces for this very end when Aedion's army is finally depleted. I'm like, there's no one has magic. The magic is gone. The forces, the weaponry is gone. I was like, they're done. There's literally no other outcome I can see.
Oh, excuse me. I would like to speak to this, actually. I think that there is such an incredible, delicate line that can be crossed when writing like this, because for me as the reader, if you back someone into a corner so tightly that the only way out of it is going to be like, and then they magically had magic that they magically used to get everybody out of the situation, I'm going to feel like that's cheap. Like that ending was not worth it. So if you're going to create a circumstance that there's literally no way out, I think you really need to be so careful about the way you do get them out of that, because I don't love, oh, it was magic. I love, there was something hidden under our eyes the whole time, but it was hiding in plain sight. We just read over it and didn't think about it. And all of a sudden here, it, you know, I love the big reveal like that. Like, oh, we should have caught this, but we didn't. And Sarah does such a good job with that. So good for her.
I totally agree. Mm-hmm. After 6 days of marching, oh, I'm sorry, I missed a part. They retreat, they being Aedion and all of them, retreat behind the city's walls of Morath's armies while Morath pushes forward. When they are mere hours away from defeat, a horn blares, announcing the arrival of Aelin, who rides the Lord of the North as her massive army is following behind. And I also just want to say, I did forget that Aelin wasn't there. Like, while I was reading this, too. I'm like, I know they're on their way, but it didn't matter to me at that point. Like, her powers were gone. I don't know. But I love the timing was good.
I'm sorry. I think it's just hitting me. I understand the order in which they thought that she should do things, because if she was able to forge the lock, the gods took Erewhon with them as they promised to do and then like backed out, then Erewhon really wouldn't be an issue. Like she would have saved the army. So I understand the order, but also I guess in my head when reading this, it didn't occur to me that like the gods lied. Like I know that's one of the main plot points, but in my head I was like, why didn't she go with all of her firepower, defeat this army, and then forge the lock and like now you're toast.
Well, to be fair,
I get it.
She wasn't expecting to make it out alive. So kind of same, really. Like while we didn't necessarily expect her to lose her power, we also didn't expect her to keep her life. So either way, the firepower would have been gone. And on that hand, I do agree. Like, maybe just you could have waited, like, but it doesn't matter, as we'll see in a minute. When just kidding. After 6 days of marching, Aelin and her army arrive at the Terrasan capital city and charge into battle. When Aelin's fire magic wanes, Lysandra, in the form of Wyvern, saves Aelin from another Wyvern's attack. Aelin, Ansel, and Lysandra team up to destroy Morath's siege towers just as the remainder of Morath's Iron Teeth hosts arrive. And can someone say girl power?
Yes.
Gavriel finds Aedion defending Orinth's western gate, which has been breached by Morath. Gavriel and Aedion join forces to reseal the western gate, but Gavriel fights through it and shuts the gates behind him to save Aedion and the rest of the people. Aedion witnesses Gavriel die protecting the gate.
Can I give a hot take?
Don't, because I'm about to say something that I know is the opposite of your hot take.
Okay.
I know this isn't like the saddest thing ever, but it was sad for me. Like I know what you're about to say, but I thought this was sweet and tender.
I was
That's
gonna
all
say
you can.
this was devastating for me.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Continue.
I did not care.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I did not care. I just didn't. I didn't love, I mean, you all know, I've said it. I didn't love the plot line of Aedion and his dad. I just didn't care for that. And so when he died, I was like, I still don't care. I know that's heartless. But that's
it's not heartless, it's just bananas.
Yeah.
Gabriel and I already read that. My goodness, you guys, I'm so sorry. Maeve and Erewhon arrive with more reinforcements, including the 6 Stygian spiders containing Volg princesses. Everyone in Orinth sees Aelin standing guard at the southern gate, flaming sword in hand. And once again, I will say, I was like, there's no way they're getting out of this. Now, even with Aelin's armies there, again, because her fire powers are already kind of dwindling.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
then
fine.
Call me crazy. You know when like a character is underwater and you kind of hold your breath with them
yes.
to see, could I make it out alive too? It was like, to me, I don't know if this is going to parallel right, but to me it felt the same as that when I'm watching Aelin already set fire to her sword and I'm like, you're going to waste it on that. You don't have a lot left. I just feel like you're draining so quick. Please use it sparsely.
100%. Yeah. I know. Like, let's be smart about this. Mm-hmm. Aelin buys her friends behind Orinth's walls time to prepare by putting down doubt in Erewhon's mind about his alliance with Maeve. Aelin tells Erewhon that Maeve plotted to expel him from the world, allied with Dorian and Morath, and will likely turn on him if they defeat Aelin. She also reveals the healers waiting in Orinth, ready to use their power to destroy the Volg. Though she has only an ember of magic left, Aelin readies to fight. I thought this was so smart. No, but I thought that like what she did to Erewhon was genius. Like,
yeah,
because she knows, she's like, our forces much smaller, our weaponry gone, my power practically gone. Like, the only thing I can do right here is psychological warfare, so I'm gonna do it. Like,
yeah, and she's been great at that throughout the whole series. We've seen it. So what's one last hurrah?
Rowan, Lorcan, and Fenris sense Aelin burning out her powers and make haste to the southern gate. Erewhon catches sight of Irene in a nearby tower and realizes that Aelin's threat about the healers gathered within Orinth is real. He breaks his alliance with Maeve, whom he no longer trusts, and flies off to confront Irene. Irene has purposefully drawn Erewhon to the tower, leaving Aelin alone to battle Maeve. Maeve attempts to distract Aelin with illusions and once again offers her the blood oath. Rowan, Lorcan, and Fenris arrive, but Maeve attacks them with her powers as they scream. Erewhon tells Irene that healers exist in this world too. They could unheal or unbind the word gate and make the keys. Oh, I'm sorry. They exist in his world. Mm-hmm. Irene is powerful enough that he needs her so he could do it again. However, this isn't actually Irene. It's Dorian.
What?
Dorian. I know.
I forgot. It's like, wow.
I know. Dorian shifts back into himself just as Erewhon realizes that he's been duped and trapped in a word mark that Dorian wrote on the tower floor. Lysandra arrives in Wyvern.
Good.
I'm not even done. It gets better. Lysandra arrives in Wyvern form, carrying the real Irene, who uses her healing power combined with Dorian's raw magic to destroy Erewhon. Before Erewhon dies, Dorian demands to know his father's erased name, which was also Dorian. That to me,
homage, beautiful.
See, my hot take is, to me, that didn't mean anything. I don't know why.
No,
I don't know why. I was like, I actually vividly remember being like, are you kidding me? His name was Dorian? I thought it was cute.
Think if you think about it, though, maybe you are, but if you think about it in the sense of Dorian's father lost everything that he was because, like, we read about Dorian and I think it was Queen of Shadows? Queen of Shadows, how he was trapped by the Valg, and you just saw his despair, and he couldn't even remember his name. Like, he was just losing himself over and over, more and more and more. That was happening to his father, and so his father's like last ditch effort to have people remember and like not make a name for himself, but just kind of leave his mark in the world, is by naming his son his name so that he wasn't forgotten fully. I loved that.
I giving his son the only piece of himself that he could muster, like, that sentiment was really, really cute. But
yeah,
my initial thought, like, before Erewhon even explained that, because we learned that his name was Dorian, I think, first. Maybe not. I don't, whatever. I just remember at first being like, what? I think I said that out loud. Because I was like, are you kidding me? We knew his name this whole time. The more I think about it, the cuter it is. But I just, like, it didn't hit as hard for me as some of the other things. And I know that this was one of the points for a lot of people that was, like, a big deal. And it just wasn't as big of a deal for me. So I just want anyone out there
that
agrees.
You are like, Gavriel's death is up here. But, like, figuring the Dorian's father's name is down here?
Well,
or would you say they're equal?
No, they weren't equal for me. The one was much more sad, but I think
That's
it's
crazy.
Just because I liked Gavriel, and while Dorian's dad ended up being okay, like, we've already talked about this in the last episode. Like, his death didn't really mean that much to me.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
I don't know if necessarily his death meant so much to me, but I loved the mind bend, and I loved that Sarah pulled one over on me, and that, like, his dad actually wasn't all bad, and we find that out at the very end. Like, you wonder that throughout the book. First, the plot twist of the fact that he was taken over by a Valg. Then you wonder, was he actually bad? Finding out that, like, Dorian and Holland were conceived while he was Valg. What are they actually? And then the fact that it wraps up with this. I just loved that she keeps reminding me, like, I got you. And then add in, his name was Dorian. It's just, the man is an enigma. He just keeps coming back with more surprises for me. So I loved the whole thing. Loved it.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, I think exactly what you said was also, like, my biggest issue with it. Like, you'd think you're done, and then it's like, surprise, surprise. Like, I'm back. But I think, like, because, granted, he was Valg possessed, but 90% of what we got of him was evil and mean. So while I can understand that it wasn't him doing those actions, it still was his physical form doing it. And, like, for multiple books, we thought he was one way, and then he's just gone, and we're left with being like, well, wait, was he actually bad, or was that the Valg? And then we don't really see him again until he does make a good decision. But I don't know. I think it's because we never got that, like, definitive, until he was then dead. Like, we never got that definitive, like, oh, he was actually a good guy. I think that's why I'm just like, bleh. Because Gavriel was a good guy the whole time. And we got to know Gavriel as a good guy.
That's so boring to me.
I don't. Tomato, Ellie.
I know. I know.
But
it's crazy.
I think I
love that we described the same thing, but from two completely different point of views. Like, yours was just distaste, and mine was shock and awe. Amazing.
Exactly. And that's why I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I love books. I love that two people can read the exact same thing and pull completely different things from it. Like, it's all up to your life experience and circumstances on how you're going
to say, where did our lives go different that we think so opposite on this? But sous la vie, as the French say, kind of. Continue on.
As our take on the French. Maeve shows Rowan, Lorcan, and Fenris illusions of their greatest fears and deepest pain. Rowan experiences Aelin's death. Fenris is trapped in wolf form while Connell blames him for his death. And Lorcan... I know that one. Ugh. And Lorcan is rejected by Elide and refused a home in Paranth. Aelin burns the cadre with her flame to release them from Maeve's illusions. Aelin writes a word mark that she learned from the books that Cale and Irene brought from the southern continent in the snow, opening a portal to an ancient tribe of wolf-riding Terrasen Fae who have long been victimized by Maeve and her spiders. These Fae attack the spiders while Aelin, Rowan, and Lorcan throw their power at Maeve. Fenris teleports for the first time since Connell's death and stabs Maeve from behind, plunging Aelin's sword Goldren into Maeve's heart.
It had to be him.
I would
have accepted Aelin, but it had to be him.
Exactly.
So good.
Oh my gosh, that I can't even explain. Like you said, like if Aelin had done it, it would have been like, yeah, Maeve's dead. But because she let Fenris do it, it's
poetic.
Like, yes!
Yeah.
The justice for the years of sexual assault and all the mind games and what she did to his brother, like everything. She has
Lysandra killing
Arabin. Absolutely.
Yeah. It was the same but different. It was so good. So but
same,
much
same,
justice
but same.
Served.
Like
kind of, yeah.
Not even different. Same, but same. Aelin places Silba's ring on Maeve's finger, which, quote, rips her apart from within and beheads Maeve. And there's no other death that would be justice for her. Like, that is the only thing that I will accept.
Yeah.
I guess technically Aelin is the one who did that, but it still counts, I think, Fenris stabbing
It still counts. Her. Yeah. Blow one counts.
Exactly. Following Erewhon and Maeve's death, the Volg armies collapse and the surviving Iron Teeth witches flee. A victorious chant of Irene's name begins. Aelin and the cadre enter the gates of Orinth, where her people welcome her home. Ugh.
Am I crying?
I actually didn't think I was going to get emotional, but I think I might now.
I know.
Falcon reveals to Lysandra that he is her uncle and bequeaths his mercantile fortune to her. Darrow and Evangeline greet Aelin at the gates of Orinth, where he formally pronounces Aelin queen. Yep, I am. Oh. Aelin reunites with Aedion and offers Gavriel the blood oath in death to honor his memory. Lorcan agrees to stay with Aelin and Pranth and marry her. He also plans to tie his life to hers, to live a mortal life and die together. Gah! I love Lord Lorcan Locken. I can't. I love them so much, and he's so sweet, and I love that they're gonna tie together.
This was very Lord
here's
of the
the thing.
Rings for me. This really drew back to what's their names? I've been really bad at remembering names lately.
What's my name? Uma. Say it louder. Sorry, I've been watching Descendants a lot.
Help me out. Main character in Lord of the Rings, not Frodo, but the human.
Sam? Oh,
no.
I don't know why you're asking me. You should be asking Zeke. The human. It's Ned Stark.
No.
He's not even human.
The better one.
It's
the more attractive one.
I don't know. It's not going to help me. I'm not going to help you.
I'm so sorry if you're screaming through your
You probably are.
Speakers, but him and the elf.
Yes.
This is what that gave to me. I liked it.
But
I liked it then and I like it now. Tale as old as time.
It has nothing to do with what you just said. I like, though, specifically in this, that there wasn't some kind of magic loophole that made Aelin immortal. I like that Lorcan sacrificed his immortality to live a mortal life with her. Mm-hmm. Because loopholes aren't cute. Sacrifices are cute. And so he wouldn't want to live without her. So I don't even think he saw it as a sacrifice. But at the end of the day, it was. He gave up something, even though he felt like he was gaining. I don't know. It's just so cute.
Yeah. And it's Aragorn. And
thank you.
The elf is Arwen.
Arwen? Yes.
Arwen, yeah. How about that? She has the memory. Beauty and memory. Insane.
I was going to say Galadriel, even though I know she's an elf, and I know that that's not right, but that's because my husband is watching the Amazon show right now.
I am too. Yeah. I really like it. That's such a side quest. Okay.
Oh, so yeah.
Come back. Let's come back.
Irene plans to stay with Chaol and Aurelia and start her own Torre Sesme and Otterlin. The Kraken messengers reach Manon with a king's flame flower spotted growing in the waste, signifying the official end of the witch's curse. Manon, Petra, and Bronwyn agree to bring their clans together as, quote, one people. Aelin gathers her court and suggests a more representative government. Aelin visits Manon and offers to build a monument for the 13 in the place where they sacrificed their lives. Oh, that got me too.
I loved how much this spoke to Aelin's character, that it was truly never, like, now she's in the place of power. Now she has it all, but it was never about the power. It was always about the people and her people and what's best for them. And that is the mark of a true leader. Love it. P.S. Go vote. Make sure you register to vote.
That's so true. That feels like a really great segue, actually.
Yeah.
Rowan's cousin, Selene Whitethorn, is crowned Queen of Doranel. Everyone attends Aelin's coronation as the Queen of Terrasen. Aelin offers Aedion the blood oath, and at the ceremony, the little folk deliver Mab's crown to Aelin, crowning her fairy queen of the West. Dorian meets with the Cognite royals, who reveal that their Rukin have found abandoned wyvern eggs in the Farian Gap. They request that a few dozen Rukin remain in Otterland to raise and train them. Dorian says goodbye to his captain of the guard, Nesryn, who will be returning to the southern continent to wed Sartaq and become Empress. Kale, I know.
Nesryn's outcome was maybe my favorite in the whole story. Like,
honestly,
I love everyone else,
same.
Obviously, but Nesryn's, like, and from pauper to princess, love it. Love it.
I love that. I was going to say that doesn't sound right, but it is right, and it's because you just switched it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess it would be Prince and the Pauper, kinda.
Yeah.
Whatever. Kale receives a letter from his mother, who renounces her relationship with his abusive father and wishes to reconnect with him. Kale agrees to house his mother and his brother Taryn with him and Irene. Manon accepts Dorian's offer to be involved in training the wyverns, which will become his new aerial legion. All of Aelin's allies depart for home, though Falcon wishes to stay and learn more about Lysandra, potentially rebuild his merchant empire in Terrasen, and assist with foreign trade agreements. Honestly, this kind of made me laugh because I'm like, this guy hasn't even been like a part of the story too much in the last little bit. And it's like, everyone's going home. He's like, actually, can I just stay to get to know my long lost niece and also maybe become one of the most powerful people in this country and be involved in every trade? Like, I know that that's not.
Hold on. This reminds me of a reel I most recently saw. And I don't want to make fun of the guy because you never know what's going on in someone's life. But the circumstance was, I'm sorry, hilarious. This guy walks up during like an open panel at one of Tesla's conferences. This was like a long time ago, I think, because the video looked older. But then he's like, Elon, I am like you. I am an advanced mind, and I would like a second look. And Elon was like, what? And he was like, I want to be vice chairman of Tesla. And everyone like laughed. And I mean, it was truly his villain origin story. But that's kind of like what this gives a little bit, is like,
yes,
I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you have done it. I would like to be vice chairman of Terrasen.
And like, I know that isn't how it comes off in the story, but like, that is kind of, he's like, also maybe I could just build my super profitable business up again, and I don't know, maybe help you with all of your trades. Like, I know he's coming from like a genuine place and stuff. It just sounds so funny.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it from the vice chairman point of view, because you're right, it does kind of give that, like,
it's a little ridiculous. Yeah. But good, I mean, fantasy.
Good for him.
He probably got it.
He shot his shot, and yeah, I think he did. Dorian, Kale, and Aelin exchange teary goodbyes, during which Aelin tells them she loves them. Honestly, this got me.
I cried.
I know.
They've been together for so long. They did just so much life in the past couple years. And now they are apart.
I know. I mean, Kale had his little stint away, but like, and I guess Dorian had his little bit, but like, for the most part, they've been like fairly interconnected this entire time.
It's a different reason. It's a different mission now. They have to just live their lives, and they are all in different darn geography.
I know.
You know, for so many reasons. This podcast included. So sad that we live so far away. So sad that they live so far away. Devastating.
Womp womp, but for real.
Womp womp.
All right, and the epilogue. After a winter of rebuilding Terrasen, spring comes and King's Flame blooms as far as the eye can see. Aelin and Lorcan are married, and Aedion and Lysandra plan their upcoming nuptials. And you think I might be done, but I'm not. What about Dorian and Manon's ending, you ask? Well, I specifically didn't include it because I am so salty with how they left things. And I'm not done.
Understandable.
I get it. They're broken and need to work on themselves. I get it. They're both sovereign rulers of kingdoms that are far away from one another. And I get it. It's unrealistic for all of the couples to have a happy ending. But none of that matters because it's what I want. And I'm sad about it. And that's the end of Kingdom of Ash.
Let's recover that a little bit.
No, I'm just kidding. But like, I didn't include it on purpose because I know there's two arguments, and I'm absolutely on the "you're kidding me, this is how it ends" side.
Yeah.
Because there's just was so much potential and so much left unsaid, and then it's like, well, but I'm gonna go rule my kingdom now. Yeah, I'm gonna go rule mine. It doesn't really make sense for us to stay together, but I'll see you around, buddy. And then like that's really what it gave that like at the end, and I'm like,
I know.
Well,
what's more devastating,
joking?
guys, is that I saw a picture, like a fan art that someone drew of Manon at Dorian's funeral.
Oh my gosh.
He grew old, and I mean,
his
we
life,
assume
his
he never
lifespan
settled,
was never
but he
explained.
has power. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he
it
could
was
have
never.
settled. We don't know, but just the fact that like it's likely that he didn't, and so then Manon was never able to truly be with him because they lived their lives so far apart. But she came back for the funeral. Gut wrenching.
My question to the author of that art illustration: why do you hate us?
What's your problem?
What did I do to you?
So
I'm glad you brought that up because I actually saw that too, and I was like, why? It was like a Tuesday, and I'm like, who did this to me? Crying in the club on a Tuesday. Why am I crying in the club?
Yes,
Ellie.
It's so true.
Oh man. But that's it, you guys.
Beautiful book. Oh my gosh, we're done. Oh my gosh.
We're done.
I'm teary a little bit. I'm not going to lie. We're done.
I got a lot more emotional towards the end than I thought I would too. But next, like we talked about in the beginning of our episode, we will be jumping into Caraval on our Patreon. So please go join that. And we will see you there for our next book club episode. And join us Monday everywhere podcasts are streamed for our next Hot Goss.
I simply can't end on a good note. I'm crying. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
See you Wednesday. Monday, Wednesday. Bye.